This is 150 palettes. This is 150 unused palettes. And this is embarrassing. The last time I tried to do a makeup rehab / low-buy, it failed. Now I want to try something different. So what I plan to do now is a modified makeup rehab. There's no spending limits, no low-buys, no palette quotas, and no chance of success. Wait, who wrote that last one? My goal with this project is simple. I want to generally be more picky with my palette purchases. I'm going to set aside bundles of palettes that are unused in my collection currently that I'm going to incorporate each month over the next year. And my goal is throughout each month, I get to sample in a reasonable fashion multiple shades from the palette in order to come to a conclusion about whether I like the palette or not, whether I want to keep it or not, right? I want to use it in a substantial way. By the end of the month, I should have used all the palettes in that bundle for that month. If I use up everything in the bundle and I want to start the next bundle early, I can. If I want to buy something, I can. But the trick here is I need to be able to use that plus the whole bundle in the month that that new thing gets delivered. So I have to really be careful to not overwhelm myself with a bunch of palettes that I can't get to. My goal by creating this bundle to be used each month is to give me a pause before I hit purchase to decide, do I want this thing right now or do I want this thing for forever? Okay, so with that said, let's get into the first bundle. So I have no idea if this is going to be more successful for me than the prior low buy, no buy quota type things I've done. Last year I tried to put myself on a quota for how many palettes I was going to buy in the year, and I had already given up on it before February. So I want to structure things a little different, try to give myself some freedom, some grace, if you will, but also still be a little bit more restrictive with my palette purchases, because at the end of the day, I do enjoy buying makeup. I do enjoy collecting makeup. I don't mind having a big collection, but I want to make sure that the things that I have at least are getting used to some capacity, right? I don't want a bunch of stuff sitting here expiring that I haven't even touched. So I made this psycho spreadsheet because I'm a psycho who makes spreadsheets. And in the spreadsheet, there is a face palette for each month of the year, because yes, I have 12 unused face palettes. And then there are between 11 and 12 eyeshadow palettes. Now, in previous years, when I have done eyeshadow palette rankings, I can rank anywhere from 6, 7 palettes in a month all the way up to 12, 13, 14 palettes in a month. So I'm hoping that this is realistic enough that I can get through it in a month. But I'm going to show you what's in the first bundle. So this is my January collection of palettes. I wanted to include some older stuff, some newer stuff to my collection in each of the bundles so that there was stuff to be excited about in each of the bundles. Because obviously if some of this stuff has been sitting for a while, it's probably because I wasn't the most excited to use it after I bought it. So I want to kind of mix that up, and I did want to make some larger palettes, some smaller palettes, because there's no way I can try 12 35 pan Morphe palettes in a month, right? So I wanted to do some smaller stuff, some bigger stuff. Hopefully that helps kind of give you a vibe as to what we're doing. So for January, one of the palettes I'm going to be trying out is Huda Khaki Haze, and I have used this once before, but I didn't use it enough to really come to a conclusion. And so I do want to make sure that I've used it, decide what I think about it. Am I keeping it? Am I going to declutter it in my next declutter? I want to have an opinion on this palette. Next, I have the Revolution Ultimate Desire palette, and this I think was supposed to be sort of a dupe for some of the higher end 9 pans that were coming out, although this exact color story is not a dupe. And I was drawn to it because I liked the contrast of the pinks and greens. So I want to use those things, decide what I think about them. Then my new favorite obsession has been cool toned neutrals. So I have the ColourPop Gone Metal palette, which looks like this. And I'm just excited to give this one a try. This is one that I picked up over Black Friday this year, so it's a newer one. It's still got that newness excitement surrounding it. Another one that I want to try out is the Rude Cosmetics Roaring 20s palette, and this is the Excessive one. And so this is, I think, supposed to be somewhat inspired by, or at least in my mind, It's somewhat inspired by like the Huda palettes, the bigger ones, because you've got some of these like pops of purple, then a lot of like rosy toned shades. You've got a Petri dish shade in here, which is not my favorite. And then you've got some like warmer neutrals. I probably won't be as inclined to go after those, but everything else in here I'm excited to try. Next, and this is my warm toned pick for the month, is the Glamlight and Garfield palette. And this one I picked up because I really like Garfield in the comics, and I saw some cute looks using predominantly like these purpley red shades, and I thought this kind of smoky blue gray was an interesting color choice, so I wanted to pick this one up and give it a try. And then next we have a Pat McGrath Quint. This is the Bijou Brilliance eyeshadow palette in Lunar Nightshade. And can we talk about how this is originally a $40 palette, but you can't even put the sticker on right on the back? But this is what this one looks like. Again, you've got like this really nice kind of berry toned matte shade, and then some beautiful metallics down here. I have 2 of these palettes from last year's holiday launch, and I really liked them, so I wanted to pick that one up. I have the Nabla Cutie Platinum palette, which looks like this, and this is another small one. I can probably, get a good feeling for this in like 1 or 2 looks, so that'll be easier to check off the list. And then I have the Clarity Croc palette, which I haven't gotten a chance to try yet, but I'm trying to include like a green olivey toned palette in each of the bundles that I'm doing. So this is the olivey green toned palette for this month. There is a shade that's trying to be broken, which is why I'm holding it up so weird. Then as far as like the new, the Element 115 palette from Adept is going to be included in this month's bundle. I'm very excited to give this one a try. The Cosmic Brushes Winter Wonderland palette is going to be included in this bundle. And again, a really beautiful color story. Looking forward to trying this one out. And lastly, for eyeshadow palettes, if I can get it out of the sleeve, is the Aurora Lights palette from Simply Posh Cosmetics, which looks like this. And I have already filmed with this one, so there is a look that is either up or coming very soon, kind of demoing this palette out. And then the face palette that I chose for this month is the Blend Bunny Forget Me Not. I picked this up during their Black Friday sale. I knew I was going to want to get it at some point because I do like collecting Blend Bunny palettes, but this one, when it first launched, was not like the end-all be-all for me. Surprise, surprise, because it's super neutral. But I thought this would make a nice addition to my collection, and I really liked that there was some nice cool undertones in here for contour, so I'm looking forward to giving that one a try throughout the month as well. And I think that's everything for this quite short video. I'm hoping that each month I can come back and do my palette rankings as I traditionally would, and include all of these palettes in those palette rankings. And then hopefully, as long as I remember, I'll do an introduction video each month, kind of demoing or showing you the bundle of palettes that I'm going to be using this month. Alright, and with that said, that is everything for this video. I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in my next one.